Which GPU should you choose? The RTX 5060 Ti 16GB with more VRAM at a lower price, or the RTX 5070 12GB with far stronger performance? This video compares both cards across price, specs, gaming, video editing, 3D rendering, and AI workloads. The RTX 5070 costs about 20% more but delivers 20 to 40% higher gaming FPS, 30% faster video editing, and up to 40 to 50% faster 3D rendering and AI tasks. The 5060 Ti is cheaper and offers 16GB VRAM, acting as a future-proof safety net for heavier projects or less optimized workflows, while the 5070's 12GB is still sufficient if users know how to optimize. Ultimately, the choice depends on whether you value maximum performance with some optimization, 5070, or prefer a more relaxed, VRAM-heavy but slower option, 5060 Ti. So, is raw GPU speed worth the extra cost, or does larger VRAM bring the peace of mind you really need?
All right, let's dive into a choice that seems pretty simple on the surface, but is actually, well, it's surprisingly complex. We're talking about the RTX 5070 versus the 16GB RTX 5060 Ti. One's got more muscle, the other's got more memory. So which one should you actually buy?
Yeah, this is really what it all boils down to, isn't it? It's a classic showdown. Do you go for the cheaper card that packs in a whole lot more video memory? Or do you shell out a bit more cash for a card with a way more powerful GPU at its heart? It is a seriously tough call. And here's the spoiler. There's no single, magic, one-size-fits-all answer here. The right choice really, truly depends on you, on how you work and what you're willing to trade off. Okay, so let's start with the absolute basics. And the first big fork in the road between these two is, of course, the price. Right out of the gate, you're looking at the RTX 5070 costing about 20% more than the 16GB 5060 Ti. Now, that's not exactly pocket change, so just kind of keep that 20% number tucked away in the back of your mind as we go through this. So the big question is, what does that extra 20% actually get you? Well, in a word, power. Pure, raw processing power. I mean, look at this. The 5070 is just stacked with more CUDA cores, more tensor cores, more RT cores, you name it. In basically every metric that translates to raw speed, it's just in a completely different class. The only place the 5060 Ti wins on paper is its VRAM. The specs on a spreadsheet are one thing, but what does this all mean when the rubber meets the road? How does this actually perform in the real world? For you gamers out there, the answer is, well, it's crystal clear. At popular resolutions like Full HD or 2K, that powerful GPU inside the 5070 just blows the doors off, running games anywhere from 20 to a whopping 40% faster. So that 20% price difference, yeah, you're getting that back and then some in pure frame rate. And you know what? We see almost the exact same story playing out in video editing. When you start piling on GPU-accelerated effects, color grades, and you hit that render button, the 5070's stronger core just flexes its muscles again. We're talking roughly 30% faster. For most editors, 12 gigs of VRAM is plenty, so it's that raw speed that really makes the difference. So for a lot of common stuff like gaming and most video editing, paying more for the 5070 gets you a much faster, much smoother experience. It seems like an open and shut case, right? But this is where the plot really starts to thicken. Okay, now we're getting to the absolute heart of this whole debate, the core trade-off. This is where your specific workflow, especially if you're into 3D and AI, is going to change everything. And here, that power gap we saw on the spec sheet becomes a massive canyon. In tasks like 3D rendering or training an AI model, the RTX 5070 isn't just a little bit faster, it is 40 to 50% faster. That's a staggering, game-changing difference that can literally save you hours of just sitting around and waiting. Which, of course, brings up the most obvious question in the world. If the 5070 is that much faster, then why are we even having this conversation? Why would anyone willingly pick a card that's almost half the speed for these really intense jobs? Well, the whole answer is in that one advantage the 5060 Ti has. It's 16GB of MRAM. See, it all comes down to two totally different kinds of users. Two different ways of thinking. On one side, you've got the optimizer. This person uses the RTX 5070 and they actively manage their projects. They'll optimize their 3D models, they'll resize textures, they'll do what it takes to make sure the scene fits inside that 12GB limit.
and their reward is that massive speed boost. But then you've got the insurer. This person uses the 5060 Ti because they just value convenience. They use big asset libraries, they drop things into a scene, and they just don't want to think about VRAM limits. Ever.
And that right there, that's the fundamental trade-off. The optimizer invests their time at the beginning, curating and tweaking their project, and in return, they get a 40 to 50% faster result. The insurer invests less money on the hardware, but they end up paying for it with their time at the end, staring at a progress bar for way, way longer. Honestly, the best way to think about that extra 4 gigs of VRAM on the 5060 Ti is that it's an insurance policy. It protects you from having to be super careful with your scene. It gives you peace of mind. But the premium you pay for that insurance policy is a much, much slower workflow. So let's wrap this all up. It's time for the final verdict. It's time for you to decide which path makes the most sense for you. So here's the cheat sheet. The 5060 Ti is cheaper and it gives you that VRAM insurance policy. It's perfect for the insurer who just values convenience over everything else. The 5070 costs more, but it is a powerhouse, making it the obvious choice for the optimizer who craves raw speed. There's no single best card here, just the best card for how you like to work.
At the end of the day, you're not just picking out a piece of computer hardware. You are choosing your workflow. You're making a conscious decision about what you value more: upfront convenience and a lower price tag, or maximum speed that just asks for a little more discipline.
So ultimately, the choice lands right back in your lap. Are you an optimizer, somebody who's willing to put in the effort to unlock that incredible speed? Or are you an insurer, someone who would rather pay for the comfort of a big safety net, even if it means you're going to be moving a whole lot slower? The right answer is whatever works for you.
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell to the later update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end, and see you in the next video.